We've been here before, fighting the problems that fight back. But we can shift the status quo, because we see opportunities where others see obstacles. We're change makers and problem solvers, uniting over 1 million minds to address complex issues facing communities around the world, including yours. With passion and purpose, we've led the efforts to put an end to polio. Now eradication isn't just possible, it's plausible. Every day we're investing in a new generation of leaders so we can continue to provide access to clean water, tackle global health concerns, support education, and build the foundations of peace across borders. We're working together as partners and professionals while making friendships that last a lifetime. We're Rotary, and there's no limit to what we can do.
Good evening, everybody. Once again, welcome to the Rotary E-Club of 3310 panel discussion. My name is Chiu Ban Singh. I'm the Charter President. I'm also the moderator for this session. Today's topic is building equity through our foundation and grants. For ladies and gentlemen, for those who are watching or intend to watch, we are live on Rotary E-Club of 3310 Facebook page. So please share the link, and we hope more people can participate and learn at the same time. The Rotary Foundation was created back in 1917 by Rotary International 6th President Arch Crum as an endowment fund for Rotary to do good in the world. It has grown from an initial contribution of only US $26.50 to now more than $1 billion. It is one of the largest and most prestigious international fellowship programs in the world. The new Global Grant Program, which we are going to talk about, started on 1st July 2013. Prior to that program, the Rotary Foundation had a program called the Old Matching Grant. But we started to introduce this because we want to do bigger and more sustainable projects. The minimum amount for each project under the new global grant is US $30,000. After a slow initial start, we have had major successes over the last few years, especially. We will be hearing more from the panelists later on in the session. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you each and every of the panelists. First of all, I'd like to introduce my district governor, Raja Mohan Munisamy. He's from the Rotary Club of Pandan Valley. After becoming a club president in 2013-2014, his Rotary career is literally set. He became assistant governor immediately after that, and then onwards to serve in district chairs at each and every different sessions. So he was the district membership chair, district vocational service chair, Rotary Global Grant Rewards, Rotary Global Rewards chair, community service chair, and of course, district strategic planning committee chair. Mohan has received many awards, but most notably, he received the Rotary International Vocational Service Leadership Award. He's an Archcram Society member, Trustee Circle, Paul Harris Society members, and a benefactor. D.G. Mohan is a qualified hydrographer, and he owns his own company called Geometra Groups of Companies in the service industry, providing land and hydrographic survey and logistics both locally and international. DG, would you like to say a few words to the audience?
Hi, greetings from District 3310. I'm happy to be here in the forum. Thank you so much. See you again soon.
Thank you very much, DG. The next speaker comes all the way from America, Las Vegas, in fact. Rotary Club of Las Vegas won from District 5300. His name is past District Governor Bob Ilawa. Chap Ilawa is the Ashkram Level 4 Platinum Trustee Circle. He served in many Rotary positions, but I'll just mention a few. He was a District 5330 International Service Chair, District Global Grant Chair, he also was the Southwest PAC's Board of Directors. Sharp received the Service Above Self Award back in 2017-2018. He's also the former members of the Rotary Foundation cadre of technical advisors. So that's why we invited him, and he's going to share with us a lot of things about Rotary Global Grant. A board member of Rotary Action Group for Peace. He's the chairman and group council and global council for Peace Ambassador, founder of Rotary for Peace, and of course, District 5300 Global Grant Chair. Sharp, would you say a few words?
Well, good morning, good evening. Honored and privileged to be among great Rotarians from your district and around the world. Thank you, and we'll see you later.
Last but not least is my good friend, past President Ng Yao Hua, member of Rotary Club of Kuching Central since 2004. He served as club president in 2015-2016. He's very active in the district and he served in various capacities, most recently as District International Service Chair, Stewardship Chair, and as District the Rotary Foundation Grant Chair for the last 3 consecutive years. By profession, he's a hoteler with a professional qualification with master's degree in finance. Yawa, would you like to say a few words? Unmute. Okay, Yawa, just to let you know, you were muted, but Yawa, just to let you know, you were muted, all right? But never mind, we will continue on. Rotary District 3310 is actually quite unique as it encompasses 3 countries, namely Singapore, Brunei, East Malaysia, and part of West Malaysia, which includes Johor and Malacca. Given the vastness and diversity of the territory, DG Raja Mohan shall share with us about what Rotarians and Rotary Club in this part of the world has been doing in terms of global grants and community service for the benefit of the people here. Can I invite DG to share his...
Thank you, Moderator CP Chuban Singh, fellow Rotarian, Rotractors, and honored guests. Rotary International District 3310 is quite unique. It is one of the few Rotary districts which consists of 3 countries, namely parts of Malaysia, Singapore, and Brunei. Okay. Just trying to. Start changing the slides. Sorry about that.
Alternate tab, I think.
Yeah, I did. I got the slides, but it's just not moving. I don't know why. Sorry about this. I'll stop sharing and share again. Screen. I'm sorry. It's anyway. Slides are not moving. I'll just continue. Sorry. Rotary International is unique. It's quite unique. It is one of the few Rotary districts which consists of 3 countries, namely parts of Malaysia, Singapore, and Brunei. We have a total of 71 Rotary clubs. Geography-wise, we have the South China Sea separating the eastern region and the western region. So the only way to travel is to fly between destinations. Flying time varies between 2 and 3 hours on average. District 3310 is a Rotary district that truly embraces diversity, one of Rotary's 5 core values. In fact, we are a living legacy of Rotary's diversity, equity, and inclusion statement. To quote, as a global network, Rotary strives to build a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change. Rotary values diversity and celebrates the contributions of people of all backgrounds, regardless of their age, ethnicity, race, color, abilities, religion, socio-economic status, culture, sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity. So I'll just show you that the map of we have. Let me quote from Rotary International, the simplified definition of each word in the phrase diversity, equity, and inclusion. For diversity, Rotary welcomes people of all backgrounds, cultures, experiences, and identities. Rotary strives for the fair treatment. That's for equity. Rotary strives for the fair treatment, opportunity, and advances of all Rotary participants. Rotary is working to create experiences where all people feel welcomed, respected, and valued. To ensure that these principles are followed for community service projects, more so in global grant applications to ensure sustainability, Rotary clubs are expected to do community needs assessment by working together with their local communities. Basically, such community needs assessment needs help us to identify and focus on the community needs, develop community relationships, provides hands-on service opportunities for our Rotary Club members, improve the lives of those individuals, families, seniors, and children in the community who are living in need, promote the benefits and value of Rotary in the community. In honesty, it is not as easy as ABC to do community service projects in East Malaysia. Many beneficiaries live deep in the interiors. In access to them is not easy. In most cases, Rotarians would plan for three-day, 2-night mission trip. Such trips may take 4 hours to reach the destination using 4-wheel drive and up to 10 hours using ferries and boats, amongst other mode of transportation. Main challenge faced by volunteers is the infrastructure. No proper roads, only timber roads. When it rains, a track can be slippery and dangerous. Language can also be a barrier. They need local translators, as the older folks, especially the Penans, who are the nomads, cannot speak Bahasa Malaysia, which is the local lingo. A four-wheel drive vehicle is main form of transport, but to reach certain villages at times, they may need to cross rivers. So some of the projects we've been doing is piping clean water from water collection areas to long houses, solar lighting, medical camp, improved toilet sanitation for rural schools, food aid to urban poor, road remedy under eye mobile clinic, cleft lip remedies operations. And unfortunately, I couldn't show any pictures here. There was one project from Rotary Club of Kuching Central. It was the very first global grant project undertaken within our district, clean potable water for Medlikin. And then there was another project by Rotary Club of Bandar Seri Begawan. And it was another wash clean water project. A total 12 completed before COVID-19, but all those projects were done without global grant funding. This project was undertaken by RC Miri for medical mission carried out with Rotarians, doctors, with volunteers. As you can see, there are plenty of potential projects that Rotarians can do in East Malaysia. We welcome overseas Rotarians as there are many opportunities to partner with us. Our diversity is our strength and the jewel of our district. Within our district, which comprises of these three countries, there are plenty of work, and we can easily initiate global grants between two Rotary clubs within our own district. For example, Singapore clubs as international partners can be fully engaged in the project execution rather than just be the usual funders. Our District 3310 subscribes to the statement on diversity, equity, and inclusion. That is why Rotarians of diverse backgrounds can come together in carrying out projects that serve the community. Together, we can do good in the world. Thank you and have a pleasant evening. Over to you, moderator, CP Pansing. You're muted. You're muted, CP Bansing.
Thank you. Sorry. Just to let you know, DG, your slides were all shown because we have a very good technical support from Clarence, and so everything went on perfectly well. Thank you very much, Clarence. Thank you, DG. The next person I'd like to call upon is PP Ng Yao Hua as the Rotary Foundation Grants Chair. Can you share with us the recent policy changes of the Rotary Foundation? Given the fact that this had come about, can you tell us how it will affect us as Rotarian, Rotary Club, both locally as well as globally? Over to you, Yawa.
Thank you very much, Bansing. Yes, can I have the slides, please, Clarence? All right. My name is Ng Yao Hua, and I'm from the Rotary Club of Kuching Central, based in Sarawak on the island of Borneo. Next, please. Yes, over the last year and going forward, Rotary Foundation has initiated a lot of significant changes to the grants program. Okay, I'll divide these changes into two parts. The first one is changes since July 1st, 2020. That was from last year, July onwards. As you can see, the first one is they no longer match 50% of any cash contribution in a global grant. The minimum budget, as CP Bangses alluded to, is still at $30,000, and this is primarily because the foundation wishes to have impactful projects, and this can only come about with a larger amount of budget. On the third one, the international funding structure has been reduced from 30% to 15% to make it easier for applicants to structure their financing, given that there's no longer any cash matching of cash contribution. On number 4, there's also no minimum World Fund matching. Previously, it was set at 15,000. So now, because of the lack of World Fund matching for cash contribution, they've waived the minimum World Fund matching to 0 for any global grant, and they've actually increased the maximum World Fund matching from 200,000 to 400,000 per global grant project. All these will make it easier to actually structure the funding side because of the more restrictive Rotary Foundation matching requirement. The next is more towards auditing for global grant that requires a matching of World Fund in excess of $50,000. It requires a KD review during the approval process. So they actually look at it more closely nowadays to ensure that the project is worthwhile. And of course, from last year, the last major change was the ability or allowance of Rotary clubs to participate as partners in the global grant projects. Not main partners, but normal partners in the global grant project. And they can become main partners from the year 2022, July 1st, 2022 onwards. That's slightly more than a year from now. Clarence, can I have the next slide? Thanks. So the changes that is going to come forth this coming July 1st, 2021 is, of course, what everybody is excited about. Is Rotary Foundation has included a 7th area of focus as its funding priorities and ambit, and is supporting the environment. The other few major changes are the reduction in World Fund matching of District Designated Fund or DDF from 100% to a low amount of 80%. And corresponding to this, any global grant application that has not been approved by June 30th of this year will be returned to applications draft state to have their fundings restructured based on the new requirement. So I urge all global grant applicants to check with the grants officer to find out the status of the grant approval process so that they can get everything approved before June 30th. Otherwise, the funding structure will definitely require more top-up of funds because of the 20% reduction in World Fund matching. The next reduction of World Fund matching for DDF contribution to Polio Plus will result in less contribution to our Polio Plus funds because this has a two-tier effect. For example, if I previously contribute $100 to the DDF to the Polio Plus fund, I will get 100% matching from World Fund, and the total amount given to the Polio Plus fund will be $200 plus a matching of $400 from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now, if I give $100 to the Polio Plus fund, I only get a 50% matching, so it becomes $150 and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation will still match at 2-for-1, but at $150. So that is another 300. So instead of getting 600, the Polio Plus Fund will get only 450. So that is the multiplier effect of this reduction of World Fund matching for the Polio Plus funding by DDF. The next item is operating expenses, which will now be shared between the World Fund and DDF. Previously, any contribution, 100% contribution to annual fund, 50% will come back to the district as DDF in 3 years' time. And 45% will go to the World Fund, and 5% will be deducted for operating expenses by Rotary Foundation. Now they will deduct equally between World Fund and DDF, so that we only get 47.5% back in 3 years' time instead of 50% as DDF from our annual fund contribution. So this has a slight reduction impact on DDF availability to the district from annual fund contribution. And of course, the last item is not many districts are in a happy position to continuously roll over unused DDF to the tune of 5 years or more. But in the event that any district is in this position, from next year onwards to the countdown in 5 years' time, that is in 2026, and from next Rotary year onwards, is this year, July 1st. So in 5 years' time, if the DDF that is carried over from this year is not used up, it will be a mandatory contribution to the funds in Rotary Foundation, either to end polio, to endowment fund, or to the World Fund, and up to the district to decide. But it's a mandatory contribution. It cannot be rolled over anymore after a period of 5 years. So these are the changes that's going to be effective from July 1st onwards. Next, please. I'm happy to note that Rotary Foundation is still giving priority to COVID response global grant projects. Our district was put in an application in early May, and the approval came within 10 days. Rotary Club of Klang was the latest one that put in a COVID grant. So the approval came within 10 days. And the other aspect of this global grant project is that it does not need to be there don't need to be a sustainability aspect to the project as is necessary for normal global grants. And the minimum 51% of the budget must be used to buy COVID-19 specific medical equipment. The rest of the funding can be used for pandemic response, such as food aid and so forth. Our district has been very proactive with COVID-related global grants, and we approved 60,000 DDF last year when the first wave hit us in April, May. And subsequently, we approved another 20,000 DDF when the incidence of COVID positivity rates increases in Sabah. So the district is quite proactive in responding to the pandemic. Under the current scenario, I believe we should be encouraging our district clubs to actually look into whether the areas need any global grants to mitigate any gaps, health gaps that they see within the community. I must stress that it is important for clubs to distinguish between timing gaps and actual gaps itself. because we can, if it's a matter of timing gaps, that means the matter can be resolved eventually by the authorities or the organization concerned. It doesn't help for Rotary clubs to actually go and try to resolve it, because most probably the gaps comes from a timing or a lack of supply issue, like maybe ventilators, face masks, PPEs. Even if you get the funding from a global grant, you cannot actually purchase the equipment itself. So the clubs must be very, very clear on needs assessment. Next, please. So we come to the final part of the presentation, which is the seventh area of focus. Rotary Foundation is of the view that most of the youth nowadays are actually very concerned with protecting and rehabilitation of the environment, and we have responded accordingly with creating this, including this seventh area of focus. The slide shows the ambit of the area of focus. These are extract from the area of focus policy statement, and it can be viewed easily in my Rotary reading materials. But you can see that it covers a wide range of activities under environment. I think any and everything can actually be done to configure a global grant project in this area of focus. For example, renewable energy will come under number 4, addressing the causes of climate change. Previously, solar panel to generate electricity is not allowed under any area of focus, but now it's possible under this seven area of focus. Other things like promoting behavior, more of an educational program, so you can structure that to be part of a learning event for either in school or actually part of a educational syllabus to enhance the teaching of environment protection. And then we can also look at sustainable consumption and the sound management of byproducts, especially with the recycling of plastics and all these long edge material, as I call it, that cannot be degraded easily. And the last one is actually quite interesting. It also allows for a global grant project to be designed such that it addresses the injustice that might help the injustice that might help against marginalized communities. So these are areas that actually will support and enhance environmental protection in the long run. The grant application design itself, this is specified that there are certain things that they are not allowed to do in a global grant of this nature, and this is in the last slide that I have. So as you can see, one-off event is actually a no-no for global grant projects. So because there's no sustainability aspect to the grants project, so anything such as single event beach cleanup, habitat cleanup, single event training session, or even tree planting by itself, or outdoor recreational activities, and also the projects that only involve building infrastructure, purchase equipment, and training people how to use it. These are all not allowed under this area of focus for environment. Please, if they have any further question, I'm very happy to answer in the Q&A segment, or we can redirect you to the reading materials that My Rotary has in its comprehensive database. Thank you very much. Back to you, Bang Seng.
Thank you, Past President Yahua, for sharing the Global Grant Program under the Rotary Foundation. I thought one of the things that we could actually add on is to say about the success of the Global Grant Program. We talk about the fact that while it started slowly, during the first year, the Rotary Foundation awarded something like 868 global grant worth a total of 47.3 million. But last year alone, in 2019-2020, the total global grant awarded increased to 1,359, and the amount that was awarded was 95.6 million, which is more than double what it first started. So in response for this, also as Yahua has said, in response to the COVID program, $32 million was awarded to the disaster response grant for the program, for the COVID program. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the global grant has been so successful that we basically have to look for more money, and thus the need to do a little bit of fine-tuning for the funding program. Thank you, Yahua, for sharing. Deep PDG Sharhab at Delaware, you are a board member of the Rotary Action Group for Peace and also from the Rotary Club of Las Vegas 1, and that's 15 hours away from us. And so, indeed, we are most privileged to have you with us, and we have a lot to learn from you. Can you share with us your experiences on the importance of the collaboration in Rotary to achieve equities in the world through projects and global grants? So over to you, sir.
Well, honor and privilege to be with you. Good morning, fellow Rotarians, Rotaract, young people, all the really passionate Rotarians around the world. Shuban, Past President Shuban, you covered every angle of the global grant necessity, so that is awesome. Governor Mohan, I can see the pride on your face when you talk about your district and what they do, and that's why we're here right now, because of the way you lead your people into helping others and the global grants and service to others, and that's really what established positive peace in the world. And I can see also our young Rotarian that came right to your help this morning by putting all clearance. You are awesome. You came to help, and that's the greatness about collaboration, even with young people and the mature Rotarians, because that's what brings the energy and the wisdom together to our Rotary world. When I first talked to Chu, you are real passionate and thorough about all you have done in this. So when I first talked to Chu, he said, what do you think a good subject will be? And I said, well, how about equity through our foundation and grants? And he said, he started asking, what is that? How can we start that? So, but I want to go back to Governor Mohan. I want to first congratulate you on becoming an Arch Clump Society, and that's a few days back on May 19th. You see, Governor Mohan understands the importance of putting something in the foundation so we can get something, because They say you cannot pour from an empty glass. And Governor Mohan knows what that means. So he put into the foundation over $250,000. That will come back in a kindness way to support programs in the world. So, but do not be intimidated by people like Mohan or like us or anybody else that puts so much money. You can put anything you want. Guess what? 60 cents will vaccinate a child and save them from polio. And my grandfather always says, when you build a great castle, every little nail counts. Every one of us count. Every penny we put in the foundation count. So do not be intimidated. Give as much as you can when you can. But always remember, we cannot do global grants or the activities we do around the world to help people worthy of our help without putting into the foundation. So, Shu, you've chosen a great subject to talk about it. And right now it's probably, we are 3 days from a deadline for global grants. And if you want to put your global grants on tomorrow, is probably, 3 days. By the 30th, we have to approve and submit. All the signatures should be there to submit the global grant. Otherwise, you will have to rewrite your grant at the beginning of the year with the 20% less money, as Yawa says earlier. So before we start the how can we innovate in this pandemic? It taught us how to be sufficient, how to be efficient, how to be innovative, how to collaborate among each other with the youth, with the Rotarians across the world. I met more Rotarians, and my wife and I, Dr. Bricia, we travel constantly the world, and I met more Rotarians in this period of time, and more young people in this period of time, and connected more people in this period of time than any other period in the world. I'm talking about Rotary Connects the World and also Rotary Opens Opportunity. Those two mottos could not be in any better place in these 2 years. So they say true service happen through the lens of equity. And that takes me right into the mission statement of Rotary. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe in our community and in ourselves. Most importantly, in ourselves, because we are the center of our universe that really everything rotates around us. And we have to be healthy, and we have to have full glass so we can pour out of it. The Rotary Foundation mission statement: the mission of the Rotary Foundation is to enable Rotarians to advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through improvement of health, the support of education, and the elevation of poverty. And ultimately, that will lead to positive peace in the world. So, Rotary International at the beginning of this pandemic, and that's very significant. And Yawa came upon saying that his district got an approval in 10 days. I've seen global grants for the COVID-19 being approved within 3 days. So Rotary International and our foundation have went into higher gear, but also into more efficient gear. Yes, nobody was in the office. Everybody working from their own house. And then they took that decision, and thank for our General Secretary, that he said, Yuko, he said, okay, we're going home. But by doing that, we discovered that we become more efficient. I have seen a global grant in Nepal. Even it wasn't COVID-19. It was approved within less than a week. And I've seen more people connect around the world, and especially with our project fair, because we hold a project fair every third Tuesday of each month. And next month will be on the 15th. And I sent the link to President Xu so he can share it with the district and share it with the Rotarians in your district. Because what we do is we just meet together, and from all parts of the world, after posting our global grant on matchinggrants.org. Although matching grant has been gone, but still we're using the same grant because it's been used for a long time. And if you see that what we came to idea with the help of Clarence, our youth, we came to idea, how about bringing resources? Rotary International was so resourceful by putting grants for disaster related grants, COVID grants, grants that have been approved with so little time, not requiring any money from international partner, just to have the help that needed to get to the people. We are not an emergency organization, but we geared into it because we feel the urgency to give our kindness and the equity that we can create across the world. Because a lot of equity, inclusion, and diversity, it came right up after this pandemic, because it became clear that communities with less resources, with less money, with less help in the water, with less help in education, with less help with everything else, those communities suffered the most. And who came to the help? Our foundation, our Rotarians, our youth. We have little projects in some in South America that the youth, we started a Rotary Act for Peace. And what we did, we empowered the youth, because the youth were able to get out while the mature Rotarians were afraid to get out. So these youth were so innovative. They asked the public, if you need something, put a little flag on your balcony, and then we'll stop by. We'll give you a bag of goods, and then we will probably connect you with your doctor, whatever. So I would like you to put that this little QR again, please, up again. So if you take your phone right now and you put it on this QR, you will see resources that will help you do a lot of things and get some within links. So there's one link that I put together for the past 3 years for my district and for other Rotarians in the world, that when you click on it, it will take you to every little subject in Rotary by subject. Instead of going 4 or 5 layers in, you will take you right in there. And then what we really advise the Rotarians is to cut your time and also cut the chase, because when you put a global grant, you're gonna get some questions. So one of the links is about the grant coordinators. If you click on it, you will find a grant coordinator for every area of in your every zone, every district. So what we advise is write your global grants, put it on matchinggrants.org, but also send a synopsis of your grant to your grant coordinator. Well, the grant coordinator is not going to tell you this is wrong, this is all right. They're going to say, I've seen it done this way or that way. So they are giving you a really Bible to go on so they can approve your grant. We also advise to connect with your cadre in your area. And I hope Governor Mohan and Yawa will create a few cadres. Yawa should be a cadre. Governor Yuan Mohan should be a cadre. There are so many resources that you can do in your district, and I call it District Resource Network. And probably Governor Mohan, before he leaves, he can establish one on your website where all the people in your district that are capable of doing a global grant, they should be there. All the district good minds, the past governors of the district, they are the biggest resource for you also. They should be coming around and also helping you with the grant. This equity, it did not come, to the global grant by sudden. It came assessment. When we assess something, the assessment, community assessment, we are asking the people in the community, what do you need? We're not just doing a global grant. The biggest mistake we make is then when somebody from United States call Malaysia and say, would like to do a project for water. No. What I say is, we connect with you, or we connect communities, say, what are your needs in your community? And that's where we start. And Rotary International realized that. So they put that thing for assessment. So sustainability. Again, sustainability is a big product to ensure the equity through the money that we can send to these communities. And it's not going to go in vain and just feed them for one time only and then go on. The action groups also will help you in many of your projects around the world. We established also a WhatsApp group, and Shu belongs to that WhatsApp group, and we've been for the past 3 years, we've been just doing global grants together and connecting people together. And that's where you want to be if you want to do global grants. And also private money. We just signed off on a global grant right now, and it was Global Hope. Global Hope gave us $15,000 to do our global grant in Nepal. And although it's not matched, but guess what? Another organization in your community is ready to help you. So all these resources are available for you, and Rotary International is probably one of the best resources you can have, because there are also a link about on this in this QR about the most asked questions and how to enhance your project, a global grant. So with that, I think in the future, probably it comes from President Shuban or from Governor Mohan to you. You can ask me, call me personally, and also join us every third Tuesday of each month. That means it is Wednesday your time. We meet at 5 o'clock in the evening. It's Wednesday your time, 15 hours more. So it will be probably about 8 o'clock in the morning, which is really a good time for you to join and find your partner live. And also, if you have a project you want to put out also, and what we do is we go in on the assumption that you have money, I have money, we can help each other. We become partners right on this spot, and then go in and show you how to post your global grant on Rotary International and what to say. It's important because the coordinators are trained to look for words, look for sentences that will approve or make your project look better. And that's what we do in our effort to help all the people in the world. I'm going to tell a little story, and then I'm going to finish, and then we'll go to questions. I'm going to tell a story about one of the greatest people in our district, in my old district, and his name is Al Braswell and Ruth Braswell. And Al Braswell would give every year about $150,000, $200,000, and he is an Ashram Society. And they will go on projects also. They will not only give money, because they understand it's important to spend the money, because by spending the money, and I can go back on the story, We have not spent $48.8 million last year. And when we have to be resourceful to do that. So they will go also on projects to spend the money, make sure that their money is spent correctly. And one time, Ruth Braswell was giving wheelchairs in the world. And this one child crawled on a stick. And she was trying to take him off the stick and put him in a wheelchair. And he kept holding on her arm and talking to her in his language. So she did not understand what he's saying. So she called the translator. She said, "What is this child saying?" The translator says, "This child is telling you to hold on a few more moments so he can remember your face, so he can thank you again when he sees you in heaven." So fellow Rotarians, fellow young people, we might not be able to thank you. The people you serve that you never see, they might not be able to help to see you and shake your hand. The well that you dig, there will never probably be a person to thank you. They will never know where the money came from. But guess what? One way or another, you will get your things, if not on earth, in heaven. So thank you for having me today. I'm honored and
Thank
privileged
you.
to be among.
Thank you, Shahab. It's wonderful that you shared a lot of stories. And of course, you actually touched on the two most important things that we wanted to talk about. And you covered it quite well. First of all, when a Rotarian or Rotary Club wants to start a project, they are actually dawned by what needs to be done. And the first thing is, of course, funding resources. Where are we going to get the money? Where are we going to get partners and stuff like that? So you actually have shared with us quite a lot of stories and how we could possibly get going. And your resources through the QR code that you actually provided, I think is wonderful because they give us the lead to where we can actually start. The second thing that also comes about where people tend to freeze is this issue of planning and implementation. What are we going to do? How are we going to do? Do we have the resources? Do we have the expertise? You know, and so all these things you have actually put together, compiled it nicely, and it's been a wonderful situation that you're able to share with us. Perhaps I can call upon all of you together, the panel, and I'd like to post this to, first of all, Yahua and Eddie, uh, and my DP, to do a bit of comment, and finally for you, Sahar, and then we will close this session. So, Yahua, would you like to say a little bit about, especially from the perspective of our district? Yahua. Yahua, can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, I lost you there a bit. What is it that I'm supposed to post?
Okay, what we want you to do is talk about resources and planning implementation from our district perspective. What are the challenges that we actually face, so that Shahab can actually be aware of it and then perhaps become a resource person in USA.
Yes, of course. Any global grant designer will number one try to figure out how to get the necessary funding for the project. Of course, the more money, the better. But even getting the minimum amount of 30,000 might still be a struggle. What our template for funding grants within our district is to get our own district grants committee to approve a maximum 10,000 DDF, which is the maximum that we allocate for per global grant projects. And we normally put them with the sister club, especially from either Taiwan, Korea, or Japan. These are the three countries in East Asia and within our time zone that are relatively what we call rich in the DDF what you call bank, a lot of DDFs in their back pocket. So these are the districts that will most probably have money to fund projects outside your district. So if we can get if there's a sister club in those three in those three countries, I think we are more than halfway to the funding structure. And of course, then we look at whether we can get any cash-rich organization to help with our funding. Recently, there was a contact made by one of our well-traveled Rotarian by the name of PP Mark Wang. He has a friend in Shanghai who is also a Rotarian in the Rotary Club of Shanghai. And this guy somehow was very generous and opened up his pocketbook and offered $100,000 to fund any projects in our district to the tune of 10,000 maximum per project. So far, I think 2 of our clubs have made use of this generous offer, and we're opening up to others that can take it up. And this guy is quite interesting. We asked him whether he is a Rotarian, and we asked him whether he wants recognition. He said he doesn't need to. So it can be a global grant project, or it can be a private project, as long as he approves the project itself. So this is what we call bonus funding. But normally our club, like Bansen's club, will do fundraising, have movie premieres, go to the street, back with friends, maybe have them over for dinner and try and slaughter them, and then come up with the cash contribution side. So with the lack of matching by World Fund starting from last year, it is becoming much harder to get funding for our grants project. So the district has to, the clubs has to be a bit more creative, and I believe one of the major ways to do it is actually to leverage on what we call other cash-rich organization that or charitable foundation that actually wants to do good in the world, but lacks the resources to do it. And we actually partner in Kuching itself. We partner with LDS Charity, Church of the Latter-day Saints. They call it LDS Charities. They have a guy here running around, trying to spend about $1 million in doing local projects. So he's only one couple. They're only one couple, and they have to depend on. They've done quite a few projects with our club, and they depend on our clubs to actually execute the projects, and they're very comfortable with us. And also the same with some government agencies. They actually some funding there. So the clubs now have to start looking outside the traditional source for funding. And I think, like Sharp said, we actually have to consolidate our information, and maybe I will discuss with our DRFC, PP Shahu, to actually come up with a database of possible funders for clubs to tap on whenever they want to carry out projects in certain areas. So basically, that is the first problem. The second problem, of course, is identifying projects. So in Singapore, it's a developed country, so it's quite hard for clubs to actually try to do the basic humanitarian projects, because I think the society there is well taken care of by the government safety net, social safety net. Over in the East Malaysia side, we are quite sparsely populated, and that's where, like DG Mohan has alluded to, it is quite difficult to scale up projects in our area. We might have a longhouse here and a longhouse there in between, maybe 30 to 50 kilometers, and it is very hard to actually combine and do one big and one normal global grant projects because of the distance between project sites. Like our Brunei Bandar Sri Begawan Club, they do their water project. It costs them about 10 to 12,000 US dollars per project normally. So this, if it's on that scale, it doesn't qualify for a global grant. But it is a very, very typical global grant project if they combine 3 or 4 projects together to scale it up to more than 30,000. But they do not want to do that because they want the Rotarians to actually participate and carry out the projects on a hands-on basis. So if they actually scale up, then the project period will be over a very long time because they only do one or two projects a year. So if you scale up to 3 or 4, the project period will be over 2 years. So it becomes a very prolonged exercise. So these are some of the challenges we face. I don't know. DG might be hearing something from other clubs as well on the difficulties of carry out projects. But to me, is on this basis. The third one, of course, is most clubs complain about needs assessment, carry out needs assessment, trying to figure out what to write in the grants application, and so forth. But I think the grants officer nowadays are very proactive. So we actually ask clubs they are planning to do global grants to actually submit their draft application to be viewed by the grants officer so that they are put on the right track before they actually do an official submission. This actually cuts down on the delay in the approval process and actually guide the proponents of the grants properly in the direction that the grants officer thinks the project should be heading, so that there's no problem with getting approval at the Rotary Foundation. So these are the efforts we've made along the way. I think I've talked too much, so I better stop.
EJ, would you like to add a bit more so that all of us knows the challenges?
Yeah. Firstly, I would like to thank PDG Saab for your kind words and all the pointers you gave earlier. It was very fantastic, and I think I've learned quite a lot from there. And of course, our PP Yawa covered, I think, most of our challenges in our district. In our district, we had a slow start when we switched global grant in 2013-14 from the previous matching grant program, as the minimum size is now US 30,000. Now, as the clubs have started, we are getting the hang of things, and many clubs came on board and are doing various global grants projects in and outside our district. So I think our district DDFs are really, like this year, we almost finished everything. So there's more and more interest. But as well, there are people who are still afraid to do a global grant. So I think we will definitely improve on it. So for us, we look funding through to start with our district DDFs. We also make reciprocal arrangement as well with other districts, and this usually facilitated by the DRFCs. We have been very lucky using personal connections, like the DG knows another DG. Like now we have a new friend, a new connection now, and have support from Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. I think there's one area we are not doing is crowdfunding. I'm not sure how are you all doing it in US. Maybe you can share something with us. So that's something maybe our district can look into it as well. So thank you.
Well, I would like to add.
Thank you.
Or get a little bit of be resourceful to your district probably, because it's been working. The biggest challenge, the biggest two challenges, actually, that we have faced in the global grant is how to find your partner and how to find the funding. And we found a solution for both of them. So the matchinggrants.org, once you post your project over there, you're going to get a G number. And I would like one day to go into your district and do hands-on. It's a workshop, not a training, we call them workshop, because we can bring a Rotary who never even heard about global grants, and we can have them go from zero to posting the global grant on Rotary International. And that will take probably within 30 to 45 minutes if they are good at the computer, and they are normally. So by posting your global grant there, and then we can come in and say, okay, G1234 would like to match with G1245. Guess what? You have $10,000 GDF. That guy has $10,000 GDF or $20,000 cash. Guess what? You can marry. You can have two projects done right now. Within the time that we leave the project fair every month, we will have probably between 6 to 16 global grants married to each other. So that's very significant, because also it will show them that it's not that hard. Like Governor Mohan says, it's a challenge. To a lot of Rotarians, it is intimidating. Global grant is intimidating. And like yesterday, I would say today is yesterday. Yesterday, we had 4 partners that did not even finish what they need to finish. They didn't have the signature. They didn't have some of the stuff like the MOUs done. And within 3 hours, we have 4 plus 2, 6 global grants signed, transmitted, and everything. Because of the fact it's been worked on before. We have showed them the way. They connected with their partner. Even if you don't have a partner, on your own, you can go on Matching Grant. Look at one of the global grants that do not have a partner, and they have a primary over there with a number, with his email. You can write to him, say, hey, we would like to do a global grant in our community. How about, let's talk. And guess what? That works. The most important thing also, that RI has changed, the foundation has changed. They allowed any districts in the world to pledge any amount of DDF to any district, to any club, to a project, to any cause in the world. So what that means, my district, if we have too much money, too much DDF, the governor can pledge to your district $30,000, $40,000 to do global grant. That is very important, because that's how we were working for the past 3 years, and we've done over 300 global grants with over $7 or $8 million worth of global grants. So that's a great way of connecting people together there to help the world to spend that money that we are bringing from one year to another, like this year, 48.8 million. So we need to deplete that to zero. And I'm not sure if we can deplete that to zero, because sometimes there are some money that's pledged or worked on, and it has to be there for the next year, whatever. But that money should be less, because I consider it a crime to turn over any money from one year to another, because the world needs it. That mother, that child, that one student, that one crippled person, that one person affected with COVID, they need that money. Why? We're not in the banking business, after all. We are in the service business. So we need to spend the money that our Rotarians gave 3 years ago on the assumption that we have the expertise to spend that money. And unless we spend it, we're not going to establish positive peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Shahab. I think that in the interest of time, we could continue and continue and continue. But I think we must come to an end at some point of time. So I'd like to just say that thank you very much. It has been a wonderful session. We were able to learn from you, especially Shahab, because we are all from this part of the world, and it's been an eye-opener for us. Thank you, Yahuwah, for sharing with us all the challenges that we face, and of course, my distinguished district governor, Raja Mohan, for spending his time with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends, I hope all of you have learned something, and I hope that we will continue to try to learn, and perhaps we will have a further session in which we could start to talk a little bit more in more details on specific areas. Let us know what specific topics or theme you would like us to share, and we will explore and we will find you the speakers. Thank you very much, and thank you for being with us for the hours or so. See you again.
Pleasure. Thank you very much. You have a beautiful
Okay.
day. Thank you. Thank you.